Hello, welcome to the House of Glitters Winter Walking Meditations album and Glitter Goddess Yoga. My name is Am. Shout out to the Glitter Goddess Collective, to Providence Community Libraries, Providence Parks Department, and Department of Arts, Culture, and Tourism for making these free community sessions possible. For information about how to donate and updated yoga schedules and past yoga video flows, go to theglittergoddesscollective.org/yoga. And also, of course, check out our Winter Walking Meditations album. That's easily found on houseofglitter.org. Super excited to engage in this work in a really different way. So today we'd like to get into a little yoga stretch before you walk or listen. This project, as an invitation to take care of your mental health, for community mental health. We're really working with so many people and amazing people to make this work happen. And just shout out to all of you who have been involved. And especially if you're involved, and even if not, I'd love to invite you to extend out, maybe outside of your comfort zone. Move into some new practices for yourself, for your self-health, for community mental health. Be a part of something that others are involved in the city and state. It feels really good to be in community in this way, and I really highly encourage, just like if we can wake up and schedule work meetings, then we need to wake up and also schedule self meetings. And that means that can look like taking a walk. It can look like popping headphones in for 10 or 20 minutes just to lay and listen, and it can really make a huge difference on your day, on your week, on your month, when you make it a part of your practice. So that is my encouragement to you. So, of course, because I can't respond to your body in real life, as you work through these poses that I'm offering, please be very gentle on yourself, be very caring, avoid any pinch pop sensations. We'll move through pretty slowly and go through mostly light stretches for before you walk, and we'll look at some ways to keep the body warm and get the muscles warmed up before you go out into the cold. I think that's it. So let's get started. We'll begin with a short meditation. I'll invite you to find a seat. Definitely have some water nearby, a pillow, blankets, some support. And I like to stack my support. I have a nice big pillow to sit on for the opening meditation. You can cross your legs, have your hands resting on your knees, on your lap. And we'll begin by closing our eyes or find a soft gaze. I'll invite you to roll the shoulders back, open up the chest. Take a moment to tap into the natural breath. Just notice how your body is feeling in this moment. Notice the sensation of breath in this moment. And while you're here, let's start to lengthen each inhale and exhale. And as you lengthen these inhales and exhales, let's take them in through the nose, out the nose. And if it doesn't feel good for you to breathe through the nose, it's okay to inhale and exhale at the mouth. And I'll invite us to open the chest just a little bit more. Maybe send the shoulders back a little bit more. Maybe lifting the chin, just creating some space for the breath, for the inhale. And as we work for these next 3 breaths, I'll invite us to find some stillness, a little bit of space at the top and bottoms of the breath. So we'll inhale, holding it for just a moment, and then let it all go. At the bottom of the exhale, pause again for just a moment before inhaling again. Finding that pause, exhale, releasing, inhaling one more time. And as we exhale, I'll invite us to drop the chin to the chest. And we'll start to roll the neck out from side to side, just in front of the chest, slowly with control. Opening up the muscles in the neck. Continuing the slow, controlled breath. And let's bring the head back to neutral. We'll inhale the shoulders up. Exhale, releasing the shoulders down. Inhale, reaching the shoulders up. Exhale, down. One more time, up. And exhale, down. From here, we'll drop the right hand to our right side, lifting the left arm up and over. Stretching out the left side body. And then swap to the other side, reaching the right hand up. Come back to center. From here, we'll roll out the wrists. And then we'll face the fingers toward the body, pressing the fingers on the floor really slowly with control, opening up the wrists, pressing closer and closer to a flat palm. And once you find a flat palm against the floor, you can add some topical heat, loosening up the fascia, opening up those spaces in the muscles of the arms. And when your wrists and arms feel good, let's just shake them out. Shake out the hands like you're flicking water. And then from here, we'll move to standing. So we can get into our standing poses. However you'd like to get there. We'll begin feet hip width distance, or a little bit wider than the feet, a little bit wider than the hips. And we'll start in Tadasana. You can roll the shoulders back, opening up the chest, and then open the palms. Feel grounded in this position. Take a moment to tap into that breath practice, inhaling through the nose, finding that moment of stillness at the top of the breath, and exhaling out the nose, finding that moment of stillness at the bottom of the breath. While we're here, I'll invite us to really ground. So let's start wobbling the body back and forth, leaning the weight of the body to the toes, and then the heels. Just realizing how many muscles in the feet do so much work to keep our bodies upright, how important the structure of the ankles, the joints, and the toes are, and the muscles around them, how they work. You can think about rocking from side to side, left to right. And as you land each foot on the floor, you can think about grounding that foot deeper and deeper, feeling rooted, feeling heavy, feeling supported by the weight of the floor, by the weight of your body on the earth. And then let's come to stillness. Again, just noticing the breath, maybe curling the toes, working with pressing all corners of the feet into the floor, feeling firm in our stance, maybe a micro bend in the knees, feeling firm enough in this stance that if someone were to try to push you over, you wouldn't budge. And I'll invite us from here to the breath practice that we started in the Before You Listen guided meditations. We'll inhale a visualization, breathing into the chest, into the lungs. Sorry about that. And exhaling, releasing all of that energy out into the air around you. And you can use the visualization of a light, imagining the air as light filling up your body. And as you exhale, that light leaves your body and expands outward. Feeling into this sensation through the breath. We can think about this light as cleansing, as connective energy. I'll invite us into a moment of gratitude for the air in this practice, for the trees that help the air give us nourishment. And as we move forward in this visualization, let's take that light on the inhale, sending it down toward the feet, bringing that awareness up through the body, from the feet all the way up the legs, the hips, belly, the chest, and out on the exhale. Inhaling that light energy down in toward the feet, exhaling it out. On these next few breaths, I'll invite us to think about that same energy on the inhales, reaching down even beneath the feet, reaching into the earth like roots, and pulling that nutrients up in through the soles of the feet as we exhale into the body, inhaling that energy, reaching down in toward the earth, through the layers of rock and dirt, exhaling to pull that nutrients up and in through the soles of the feet. And now that this earth energy is in our body, I'll invite us to move it through the body with motion and in unison with breath. So we'll inhale the arms up overhead. And as we exhale slowly, we'll swan dive down, hinging at the hips for forward fold. And if this forward fold feels a little too intense, we can bend a little bit in the knees. We'll continue our slowed breath here, allowing the head to hang heavy in this forward fold. This is one of my favorite stretches to do before I go walking. Opening up the hamstrings. We can think about reaching the hips up and back. We can think about pressing all corners of the feet into the floor, maybe leaning the weight into the toes. From here, we'll go into flat back. So on our next inhale, let's press into the shins with the hands, keeping the shoulders down and back, reaching toward a flat spine, keeping the gaze down between the toes. Continuing the slow breath here, reaching into all of the muscles from the hips down behind the knees, into the Achilles. And from here, I'll invite us into chair pose. So first, we'll bend in the knees, keeping the hips back, keeping this straight, elongated spine, and then just slightly move the torso up. It can feel good to reach the arms up overhead. It can feel good to lay them back of the hands flat against the back. You can rest your hands against the knees to give you a little bit of support if it's too intense. Chair really helps to open up the hips, to warm up the hips, to warm up all the muscles in the legs, really. Whenever you're ready, we'll fold forward, straightening out the knees for forward fold. Here you can reach toward grabbing the back of the ankles. We'll come back up to flat back again on our next inhale. Continuing this slow breath. And on your next exhale, let's forward fold again. We'll just take one big deep inhale here. And exhale. On the inhale, we'll slowly roll up from the bottom of the spine to the top as if the hands are heavy. When you get to the top, you can roll the shoulders back. From here, we'll go into, we'll work toward a lunge. So we'll step the right foot forward, about 2 feet, whatever feels good for you, to really allow your hips to stay square. We don't want the hips to open up this way. So working toward a squared hip, working toward finding length in the spine. We're reaching that left heel down. And the same way we did earlier for forward fold, we'll just fold over hinging at the hips. So let's inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale to swan dive down. Reaching the right hip up and back. Feeling into the sensations here in the hamstrings. It can feel really nice to let the head hang heavy here. So from here, let's check into the placement of our hands. Let's frame the foot with both hands. And what we'll do is bend in this right knee so that it's right up against our shoulder, and send that left leg back until it's completely straight and supporting our upper body. And let's find some strength here in the legs, using isometric tension to kind of pull the left foot and the right foot toward one another. So pressing forward with the left hip, engaging, and the psoas on the left side. Just checking in with our stack here that our knee is directly above our ankle. We'll work toward a lunge by pressing up with our knee, pressing the left hip forward, feeling into that strength. And if you'd like, you can reach the arms up overhead. Sometimes it can feel good just to reach the left arm up over if the left leg is back. When you're ready, you can release to frame the foot. Drop that left knee down to untuck the toe. And lean forward with that left hip. Opening up, stretching that left hip flexor. We'll take one nice big inhale and exhale here. Before we tuck that back toe again, going into a side body stretch, we'll drop that left heel down. We'll use our right elbow against the right knee and just stretch out this left side body, reaching the left arm up and over. You can open the chest up toward the ceiling. If it feels good for you, find your gaze up toward the ceiling, feeling into that same strength in both legs. And on your next exhale, let's come back down to frame the foot. Pop that heel back up behind us, and we'll straighten the leg again, working into the hamstring stretch. Reaching that left heel down. And then from here, we'll pop the toes up by pressing that heel into the floor. You'll notice this really engages the calf. It engages in the knee. We can work toward pressing the chest forward. And let's drop that foot flat back against the floor. We'll come to a wide-legged forward fold. So you can crawl the hands through and reach the hips up and back for this wide-legged forward fold. I'll turn this way. You can crawl the hands over to one side to hug the right leg or left. This is also one of my favorite stretches before going out for a walk. So if you only have a few minutes, this one for sure is one of the first stretches I would suggest getting into. And if you have the time, working toward a chair pose, grounding yourself, grounding the feet with the breath practice, you can feel a little better, a little bit different. We're working toward the other side. Making sure that you feel complete in both hamstrings. Whenever you're ready, of course, we're turning toward the left, working with the left hamstring here. Reaching that left hip, pressing that left foot firmly into the floor, reaching down and back with the right heel. And now same thing on the left side. We'll bend that left knee. It can press right next to the shoulder. And we're going to check in with a stack here from our knee to our ankle and reach that right foot back until we find that strength and that isometric tension to pull each foot toward one another against the floor. Working to press the right hip forward, working to find that strength and that groundedness again in the feet. Maybe we're checking in again with that breath practice. And then we'll press ourselves up into a high lunge. It's okay to stay here using the support with your hands. Sometimes it's nice to just bring that right arm up if the right leg is back. Both arms, whatever feels good for you. And when you're ready, we'll drop back down, framing the foot, feeling into this hip here on the right side. And let's drop the knee down, untuck the toe, Pressing the bottom of the foot into the floor, reaching that right hip forward. And we'll tuck the toe again. Going for that side body stretch, we'll drop the right heel against the floor, rest the left elbow against the knee, and reach the right arm up and over, opening this right side body. When you're ready, we'll drop back down and frame the foot. Reaching the right heel back, you can straighten the leg, folding forward. In these next few breaths, we'll point the toes up toward the ceiling, pressing that right heel into the floor, opening up the calves, stretching out those calf muscles. When you're ready, we'll drop that foot back to the floor and then crawl through the center again for a wide-legged forward fold. Whenever you're ready, you can crawl the feet toward one another, rolling up the bottom of the spine, the middle, the top, and come back to standing. One more quick stretch I'd like to offer. You can bend in the right foot, balancing on the left, and grab the right ankle, maybe flexing the foot, and just reach and pull back as much as it feels comfortable for you. Working with the quads on either side. This is a pretty popular, typical stretch, but it can feel really good before you walk, mid-walk. Pressing into the feet. Let's do whatever we need for our legs in this moment as we find a closing on our yoga flow today. And after, find yourself seated. Oh, you know what? I will do Shavasana today. So however you'd like to get there, instead of sitting, let's lay. And once you find yourself flat against the floor, let's open the palms, releasing all of our weight. The work in Shavasana pose is to do no work at all. So once you're here, just relax. Release all the muscles, all of your weight. Allow yourself to be supported by the earth. While we're here, I'll invite you to use the exhales to release any tension in the shoulders. The exhale can offer you release in the neck. Finding your biggest, deepest inhale. The exhale can release tension, relaxing the hips, relaxing the ankles and the feet. Just take this time in silence to offer yourself this moment of peace. Perhaps at this point, your mind has started to race. Just come back to the breath. No need to judge the thoughts. Just notice them. In our last few breaths here in Shavasana, I'll invite us to take some really big, deep inhales. You can sigh on the exhale. Again, a big, deep inhale. You can let out a sound to sigh on the exhale. And bringing our awareness back to the body, we'll wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, and roll over to one side to find a moment of comfort before pressing up to a seated position to meet me for closing breaths. And once you're here, I also want to offer a really short self-massage before you listen. This can help with balance. It helps us when we walk to have balance, of course, and it helps our ears to get prepared to listen. So before you get out there with headphones, before you pop those headphones in, this can be a nice self-practice. So you start by separating the index finger from the rest of the fingers and slide your ears in between this space. So the index finger is behind your ears and your other fingers are just by the earlobes. And start by pressing into the temples with the middle fingers, the ring fingers, and using the index fingers to add some pressure behind the ears. And you can just go in circles. Getting into that crevice behind the ear, working into the jaw. These muscles in the jaw are really strong, so they can take quite a lot of pressure. And it can feel really intense to get toward the ears, near the jaw, with a lot of pressure. But feels like such a release. And then from here, you can just pull on the earlobes, pulling up and out on the entire ear. And then press your index fingers into the ears, rubbing and pressing, using pressure to go back and forth and around and follow those spaces in the ears. Stretching and opening these very minuscule, really they're tendons and bones in the ears. And what's behind that really, the mechanics of what's happening with balance is that there's basically a fluid, like a cup of fluid. And that fluid can be in different stages of viscosity. So when we're massaging, we're pulling on the ears here, we're loosening that up, we're warming up this space in the ears. And it's nice to actually just like physically bring some heat to the ears and warm them up before going out into the cold. So let's take our last few tugs and pulls on the ears toward the earlobes. And when you let go, maybe rest your hands on your lap, on your knees, and just take a moment to notice how your head feels. Notice your balance. It makes such a difference. And it's such a short, fun little practice. It just feels really good. Almost like waxing the ears in a way. So yeah, that's a nice practice to do before you listen, before you walk. And let's close out with some final breaths. You can rest your hands on your lap, over the heart or heart center. I'll invite you to close your eyes. Our 4 closing breaths, a breath for our individual ancestors who brought us to this moment on this day, who are guiding us always, breathing in and out. A breath for this land and those ancestors who were stolen, those stolen from, breathing in and out. A breath to thank yourself for your practice today, breathing in and out. And a breath for community, mental health, everyone practicing with us today, breathing in and out. The love and light in me bows down to the love and light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining us. And I hope to see you all here next week. Bye.